Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Coaching Wednesday, the biggest challenge of the week question with Olaitan Fashanu. Hey, Olaitan. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me again. Good
Absolutely.
to be here.
All right. So Wednesday is the coaching conversation. And we start by discussing a topic, something that you care about. It may be even a big challenge. So let's explore that topic together. What topic do you bring to us this week, Olaitan?
Right. So the topic I'm actually bringing to us is how to create synergy between multiple teams working on the same product.
So let's define that a little bit more. What would you call synergy in that context?
So what I call synergy is how to ensure that there is a shared understanding. There's collaboration between these three teams working on the same goal.
So when you think about that shared understanding, what is preventing that at the moment? Like in your opinion, from what you have seen, what is preventing these multiple teams? I don't know how many they are. Let's say 3 teams. What's preventing those 3 teams, as an example, to experience that shared understanding?
Yeah. So what is, if I could dig deep, so what is preventing them is that we have 3 teams working in different channels, working with they're working on different channels, and having different backlog. So having these 3 backlogs, different backlogs, it's a way where people think of actually maintaining focus on their own, working inside, working on their own backlog, instead of thinking of how we can create synergy between the other teams that are actually working on the same feature.
So tell me a little bit more. This is very interesting. So why would 3 teams, and I'm asking out of curiosity, how did it happen? Like, why would 3 teams end up with 3 different backlogs if they're working on the same product? Like, how did we get there?
Yeah, so I think we're going back to team topology right here. Yeah, so I think I would say that I do not have like the authority to influence in this area, because these are decisions that were actually made, at the leadership level, to actually have these separate teams to work on a feature that will be used by different channels. So, and then that was a top-down decision for the teams to start, working to figure out how to do that. But it's now that was what happened. This was a decision that was taken by the
Okay,
team.
So basically, these teams are working on 3 different channels, which I guess you mean sales channels. So
no, what I mean is that app, web.
Okay. So customer interface channels, like
interface channels,
web, and support, whatever, like something
whatever,
like that.
Yes.
So they're working on the same feature. Let's call it finding out why an invoice wasn't paid or whatever. Like, we don't care.
Yeah,
some feature like that. And then they're trying to basically show the same information, perhaps in different ways, to someone. Maybe it's a CS rep, maybe it's directly to a customer, maybe it's an API, whatever that is. And they are deciding, meaning the teams are deciding to work on this and other features completely separately, right? Like I'm working on my web, I'm working on my app, I'm working on my whatever chat interface, whatever that might be. And what you're saying, if I got it right, is that their management decided you don't talk to each other. You're not allowed to even know what features you each other are working on, which may perhaps be the same, but may be different. Is that what they said?
No, that wasn't from the leadership team. No. So the leadership, created these separate teams in a way to maybe to make things easier or to move faster.
For one team, for each separate team, move faster in each separate team, right?
Yeah, to move faster. How do we ensure we move faster to customers? But the thing is that even though if we're going to move faster, these teams actually sometimes are working on the same feature, the same thing, the same
and
product,
at the same time, if I understand correctly.
And at the same time. And so how do we ensure that these teams actually work together?
Okay, so tell me a little bit more. So tell me a little bit more. Do they know they're working on the same feature at the same time?
They do.
Okay. Are they aware of the possibility that they could help each other?
Of course, they are aware.
Okay, is that what you think, or is that what they think?
This is what I think, and this is what I know.
Okay,
they are aware.
So what? So how would you describe it from their perspective?
So how I would describe it is that, okay, let me create a scenario here. Let me say something here. That, okay, for example, this team is working on, like you said, give an example of an invoice. I'm going to show data to a customer. And then this team picks it up in this sprint that we want to work on this. And then the other team probably, it's not even ready to actually, pick up that ticket to work on. So once they pick that up, how do we ensure we create, shared understanding, or maybe, we find, communication or collaboration between these two teams to ensure that they have a shared understanding of what to solve.
But then, do they actually know that they are all working on the same feature, or don't they know?
Sometimes they don't.
Got it.
But they see that coming. So they know it's coming, but sometimes they are not aware when it's coming.
Okay, got it. So sometimes they know they're working on the same thing at the same time, but perhaps we can't assume that, because sometimes they will not know. So we're trying to look at the situation. How do we make them aware that they are working on the same feature at the same time?
Same time, yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
What have you tried so far?
So what I've tried is to have one is to work with the product owners of these teams to ensure that we create alignment between these teams when to pick up these things. And then, so we have this, sync that we do, that we introduced that. Let's discuss what is coming up in the next sprint, and then we prioritize that, and then we align on that. One is to who does what at what point. So we're doing that. And another thing that we've also tried is to have joint refinement sessions.
And so how have those worked so far?
They have been working for a team, but sometimes even when you say these things, you need to. The thing is, what I've noticed in that is that maturity level in teams actually fluctuates based on situations. So even if a team is mature at doing things, so if there are changes in that team, you will lose that momentum or that maturity in that team.
Yeah, or even if they are in a hurry, right?
Yeah. So these are things that we can't actually predict. Actually affects.
Okay, does someone in this environment, in these three teams, does someone always know when they are actually working on the same feature at the same time?
They do. I would say the product owners, they know.
Okay,
They
so
try to discuss.
we could try to work with the product owners to explicitly list the feature or story as, hey, this other team is also working on a similar story.
Yes.
Like could be some kind of like note at the top of the story description. This story is the same for team A, B, and C.
Yes, and another thing that I do that I also encourage, the product owners to do, and even the developers to do, is to actually link these tickets. If it's the other team has worked on this ticket or they're trying to work on this ticket, why not link this ticket to actually understand, the context, and to actually get, some, and then that would also help the developers to actually communicate better. A developer working on the same ticket, and then you also another developer working on the ticket, you guys can actually, brainstorm ideas on how to actually where to fetch this data from, how to, get this, from somewhere, from that way. So that's
that sounds like a great idea. So have you actually tried that? Like linking the stories or putting a textual note in the story description? Have you tried that?
Yes.
And how did the teams react to that? Like what happened in practice?
They actually love it, and they want that to be maintained. They want us
but they don't want to do it, let me guess.
They don't want to do it.
See, this is so cool because this is like one of those critical reflection points for us as Scrum Masters, right? Like we try an experiment, they love it, meaning the team members, they love it, they think it's great, and then we say, okay, great, now you maintain it, and they go like, no, we don't want to do that. That's too much work. Yeah. I don't know if that's what they said. Just brainstorming here.
They do say that.
Okay, so this is so cool because this is one of those things that, hey, what if, and this is just an idea, what if we take a look at the other team's backlog once at the beginning of the sprint?
That's a good idea.
Right? Like it's okay, we don't force you to do anything, but what if in the first sprint meeting, in the first daily stand-up of every sprint, we just take a look at the stories the others are working on?
Yes, I've actually not thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, because the information surface, right, or surfacing information rather, the surfacing of information is something we can always experiment with. And if that doesn't work, we could just randomly email something about the story to a developer in the other team, and then when they say, oh yeah, that's not my story, but thanks for sending that, now I know you guys are working on the same thing, right? Like it doesn't matter how the information surfaces. Of course, we don't want to be the bottleneck, right? Because we also want to go on vacation, so we need to figure out a technique that could work, and maybe that habit, let's call it that habit of looking at the other team's backlogs could become a self-reinforcing habit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing there, like you mentioned, is how do you keep this as a habit for the team? And that is something that is always a thing that is actually difficult for me, or maybe if I don't know if that's the same with other Scrum Masters. How do we maintain this habit in the team?
Yeah, and that's a great question for the second experiment. Like after you do the, let's say, first day of every sprint review, then next experiment could be around, okay, but how do I make this stick so that I don't need to bring it up, right? Like, so that's cool. Yeah. And that's the whole idea of how we work as Scrum Masters. Like we try things and then some work, some don't work. Most things don't work, let's be honest. But that's why we need to try many different things. And then when they work, we kind of learn. And when they don't, we also, but then we move on to the next thing, right? Like if, the whatever first day of sprint review works, okay, how do we make it a habit?
It's always the biggest challenge. How do we make it? Yeah, it's all, how to keep that going.
I have a phrase I heard from a lift coach, a coach that helped me with lifting, and he always said, the role of the coach, you find the imbalance, you get rid of the imbalance. That's it. That's the whole loop. You find the imbalance, you get rid of the imbalance, one by one, constantly. That's how you get stronger. That's a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Olaitan.
Thank you so much for asking.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.